How's it going, y'all? Today I want to dive into the concept of financial independence, especially how it applies in our modern world. We often measure well-being through metrics like GDP per capita and purchasing power parity, assuming these figures tell the whole story. But do they? We tend to view someone living on just a few dollars a day as impoverished. Yet when you think about it, surviving on that little is a remarkable skill, one that many of us in the Western world lack. Imagine trying to cover rent, groceries, clothing, and other daily necessities on such a tight budget. It's nearly impossible in a developed economy, but for millions of people in less industrialized regions, it's a way of life. This ability to live on so little isn't just a testament to survival. It reflects a level of self-reliance and community interdependence that contrasts sharply with our dependence on complex financial systems. People in these regions often produce their own food, create their own goods, and rely on tight-knit communities for support. While this lifestyle is often labeled as poverty, it raises the question, what is poverty really? Does it simply mean having less money? Or is there a deeper, more nuanced definition? Certainly, poor living conditions can lead to lower life expectancies and a higher risk of disease, which are legitimate concerns. But on the other hand, is material wealth the only measure of a good life? In fact, spiritual poverty, feeling disconnected, unfulfilled, or lacking a sense of purpose, might be worse than material poverty. After all, well-being and happiness are what most of us ultimately strive for. So, in that sense, someone living in a small village in the Philippines, Myanmar, or the Congo might actually be mentally healthier and more content than someone enmeshed in the global economy of the Western world. In our society, we're told to chase financial independence, the idea that we should accumulate enough wealth to retire early or stop worrying about money altogether. But here's the paradox. The more we focus on achieving financial independence, the more dependent we become on money itself. We pour our time, energy, and resources into accumulating wealth, thinking that someday we'll reach a point where we can finally relax. But isn't that a bit of a trap? The very act of obsessing over money creates a kind of mental maintenance that keeps us tethered to the financial system. This obsession with financial security drives us into a competitive rat race for limited resources. As we all strive to outdo one another, the system becomes more corrupt and inequitable. It's not just the wealthy who are greedy. Greed is a universal trait, spurred by the desire for financial independence. The more we engage with the financial system, the more dependent we become on it. This isn't just about individuals, it's about the entire economic system that incentivizes corruption and greed at every level. GDP, for example, measures the value of goods and services based on consumer spending. But this consumption-driven metric detaches us from the true value of things, reducing everything to impersonal transactions. We measure economic growth by how much we consume. Yet this constant pursuit of growth doesn't necessarily make us happier or more fulfilled. We focus so much on profit, which is seen as a sign of efficiency in a capitalist system. However, from a Marxist perspective, profit is problematic because it means that labor is being undervalued. This tension between efficiency and fairness is a central conflict in our economic system, and it's one that's difficult to resolve. The drive for profit often leads to distorted signals in the economy. For example, price fixing or inflation can hide the true value of goods and services, leading to shortages and inequities. Yet, the concept of profit isn't entirely negative, it's also a measure of market approval. If a company can arrange raw materials, labor, and distribution in a way that consumers approve of, it's seen as efficient and successful. But this efficiency comes at a cost, often obscuring the real value of labor and the fairness of the system. Historically, communities traded real-world objects, goods and services that were directly tied to survival. These trades were based on mutual need and trust, far removed from the abstract financial systems we have today. But in our modern world, financial independence has become synonymous with financial dependence. The more we strive to accumulate wealth, the more we tie ourselves to the very system we hope to escape. Even those who appear financially independent, like the wealthy investor class, are deeply enmeshed in this system. They must constantly manage, protect, and grow their wealth, making them as dependent on the financial system as anyone else. So, what does true financial independence look like? Ironically, it might mean making as little money as possible while still surviving. This would require immense skill, resourcefulness, and community support, qualities that are often more prevalent in less developed regions. Instead of striving to accumulate wealth, perhaps we should focus on building strong, resilient communities that can support us in times of need. The irony is that what we currently view as financial independence, having a large bank account, a hefty investment portfolio, or a retirement fund, is actually a form of financial dependence. We're dependent on the stability of the markets, the economy, and the value of currency itself. At the end of the day, what we all want is well-being and happiness, which doesn't necessarily increase with wealth. The amount of money needed to live comfortably varies greatly depending on where you live, the local economy, and your personal circumstances. But in essence, the less we need money, the more independent we truly are. Think back to childhood before we had jobs or money. We relied on our parents or caregivers to provide for us. We didn't worry about paying bills or saving for the future, we simply lived in the moment. There's a certain freedom in that detachment from the financial system, a freedom we lose as we grow older and become more enmeshed in the economic machine. In conclusion, survival skills and community support might be the true keys to financial independence, not the accumulation of wealth. The best form of financial independence might not involve money at all, but rather the ability to thrive without it. Imagine a world where we could trade our skills and resources directly, without the need for money. Such a system might be less connected to global trade, but more connected to human relationships and community well-being. This kind of interconnectedness, based on mutual support rather than financial transactions, could lead to a more fulfilling and sustainable way of life. So, when we talk about financial independence, we need to question the underlying assumptions. Are we truly striving for independence, or are we just becoming more dependent on a flawed system? Perhaps the real path to independence is through simplicity, self-reliance, and community. After all, if we can survive and even thrive without needing to engage with the financial system, isn't that the ultimate form of independence? Thank you for joining me today in this exploration of what financial independence truly means. If you found this discussion thought-provoking, please like, share, and subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. How do you define financial independence? Until next time, this has been Fool Me Twice.